Thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. Today we have Elham Shirazi. She is an expert in the world of telework. She has over 30 years of experience working with different employers and companies all over the country. So she is working with us through Georgia Commute Options, which is a partner of Livable Buckhead, here to help provide resources on clean commutes, which includes working from home. So we're really grateful for Elham to be able to share with us some tips and tricks today for working from home. And we hope that you enjoy our pretty quick presentation on this. So without further ado, Elham, I'll go ahead and let you take it from here.
Thank you so much. Am I loud enough? Okay, great. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. And, you know, we are in the 6th month of working from home for many of you. And it's not unusual for, you know, people to be having some fatigue and, you know, just it's been a long time, let's put it this way. And for many people who are also providing childcare or homeschooling and doing other functions, these are very, very busy days on top of a busy day from work. So what I want to talk about today is, you know, what we've learned. Okay, I don't know why my slides are not, there we go. What we're learning about, you know, about this phenomena. And, you know, the research is showing, and this is from Harvard Business Review, that in 5 studies with more than 2,000 working adults, we see that people who are sending very late emails after work hours don't realize that the other people who receive it are also compelled to answer. So it's making for a much longer workday. And as we know, a lot of people are working blocks of time and maybe have to, you know, take off sometime in the day to take care of their household duties. But just know that if this is something that you're doing, it's really not good. And maybe you could time your emails to go out the first thing the next day, because it just creates a very long day for everybody who's involved. What are some burnout red flag warnings? So how do you recognize that you have it? One could be that you're avoiding work. You know, you just, you know, it's getting harder and harder to go to your desk and get some work done. Obviously, a declining performance is another sign of it. You know, when you can't produce as much as you're used to. Feeling apathy, careless, or just exhausted is another red flag warning. And then the inability to disconnect. That's really, I think, very important in this time, is that people need to unplug. You've got to have some strict hours, you know, around, okay, this is when I'm working, this is when I'm doing my other duties, and unplug. You know, you can't constantly be living in a world of communication. What can managers, employers, you know, coworkers do to help one another? I think in this time when, you know, we are, you know, probably at home, I think we have to maintain as much as possible physical and social boundaries. And what I mean by that is, you know, if at all possible, if you have a separate room to work in, that's a good idea. So people, you know, in your household know not to interrupt you. If you don't, you want to create some kind of a temporal boundary as much as possible. And that meaning that it's, you know, if you don't have room, hopefully you have a desk. At this point, by, you know, we're in month 6, I hope that you've taken care of, you know, establishing a comfortable work environment. I hear from teleworkers all the time, oh, I finally bought that chair. Oh, I finally got a desk. So that when you are at that desk and in your chair and you're, you know, sitting appropriately, that people, again, around the household know that, okay, mommy or daddy is working, you know, and this is not a good time to interrupt them. So there should be something that's your designated workspace. Now, if you know, you're all working at the dining room table, that becomes very difficult. And the other tip I wanted to give you is focused on your most important work first. So when you're fresh, do the hardest and the most important assignment that you have, because usually as the day, rolls on, you might be feeling more tired. Burnout busters, some ideas around this. One of them is, have office hours. And I really mean that, by activating some kind of an out of office response outside of certain time blocks. One thing that you could do, is if you are, taking a break, make sure it's reflected on your calendar, or if there's a certain hour that you're not going to be available, make sure that you set that as unavailable time on your, on your Outlook, so others know, that this is the time maybe you need to concentrate, or, your manager knows what you're doing, and that, other people, understand that they shouldn't, they should let you relax. Take time off. This particular issue is very important. I do a lot of focus groups with employees who are teleworking, managers who are managing people who telework. People are not taking vacation time or PTO. And it's really important, even if you can't get out of town, to, take a staycation, maybe go somewhere kayaking within, near Atlanta. I know there's a lot of outdoor things that you can do. Get into nature, just, get away from your desk, get away from your messages. It's important. We all need to refresh. And there's nothing wrong with, going away for, a vacation where you can share, a home with your beloved ones somewhere else. And, to just forget about the working world. You will feel so much better after you do this. People are also not taking sick time for the same reason. Sometimes your PTO and sick time are in one bundle, and everyone's like, well, where am I going to go? I'd rather save that for bigger vacation. But believe me, this is one of the best ways to get away from burnout. Make sure you have a hobby. Work needs to be balanced with play. And it can't be that work takes over your whole life. Make sure that you remind yourself of, the other parts of you, and, maybe dedicate time to something that is unrelated to work, so that you have a place to go to, maybe take a language class, learn a craft. It's amazing how people are discovering other parts of themselves as a way to, get around the burnout. And if you're feeling stuck in your job, or, feeling like you're going nowhere, kind of change it up. Talk with your manager, talk with, your mentor at work, and see if you talk about things you like, things you don't like. And I think that would really help, you attend to your strengths and, make your job a little bit more interesting. If you're having, some negative feelings, please make sure that, you talk about them. Don't hide your concerns. They're only going to make them worse. If you're feeling burned out, talk with your boss, talk with your coworkers. In many ways, we are helping each other, during this, COVID-19, and we do need outlets. Another thing that is causing some of this fatigue is constantly being on webinars and Zooms. And specifically for that purpose, we've made this Zoom very quick, so that, we don't burn you out as part of what else you're doing. And it's interesting that Zoom fatigue is being Googled all the time, since early March. And it is something that's real, it's sneaky. And virtual meetings do drain us sometimes. And although we're participating in these virtual meetings, sometimes some of our old tools are still better. One of the reasons that meetings through video are tiring is that we have to focus more intensely on the conversation to get the information. It's a lot easier, to be in a room and to be relaxed. And also, it's easier to lose focus because you can very easily drift or take your picture off and do something else. The way we process information over a video call is also tiring, and we keep looking at the camera if we're showing ourselves, and if there's several people online at the same time, we're also trying to concentrate on their how are they looking, what are their visual cues, so to speak, in a way that we wouldn't probably do at a conference table. So what are some techniques? Before you start a Zoom or a video meeting, take a few moments before you click start and just ground your attention. Take the time to truly greet everybody who's in the room, if possible. I mean, if it's a lot of people, of course you won't. Make sure that you reduce on-screen stimuli. And what I mean by that is you can choose speaker view in, so that you're only seeing the speaker, or you might opt for, you can block your self-view feature so you're not distracted by how you are looking while you're on this call that is with video. And resist the opportunity to multitask while you're on a Zoom, because it's just going to drain your battery down, as this, this graphic kind of shows. And make sure that if there are social events that are virtual, employee engagement exercises, singing happy birthday to, a coworker, a virtual coffee, a virtual happy hour, or a book discussion, that you do opt in and participate. A lot of people are just working all the time on camera and, also off camera, but it's important to have some of those social events for yourselves and your coworkers so that, you're also interacting socially. A lot of people don't think about it, but that is very important as well. Some other techniques that I really recommend, and that is, phone calls and emails sometimes do it for you. So you don't need to have a Teams meeting every time you're trying to collaborate with someone. Sometimes a phone call is so much easier and it's less intense. So don't forget that, this little gadget still exists and you can use it. For external calls, I would say avoid video if, avoid video if you don't know someone well. At first, maybe get acquainted by phone and, then go to video, because it's actually uncomfortable for people. Make sure that you also have an itinerary when you get into a meeting, or if you're not speaking, just kind of write down what you want to get out of it. But if you're leading the meeting, you want to have an agenda and, you want to stick to it. Do switch up your setup once in a while, just to, maybe make it a little bit more interesting. Sometimes I find that if for a meeting, I go to another room in my house, that it actually makes it a little bit more interesting than sitting at my desk. And remind yourself that this is only a place between presence and absence, that we have to learn how to accommodate as we go forward. And, fortunately, it's allowed people to work very closely, but overdoing it is not a good thing. And, let's also refrain from very high expectations, without dismissing, the benefits of online communication. When you're also on a meeting, try to put in questions, try to participate, And I think that would make it a lot more interesting for you and the presenter. And you don't always have to speak up. You can put it in the chat box. So Katie, that was, I'm sorry, Anna, that was my short presentation for today's meeting. And I'm open to questions.
That was quick and dirty. I appreciate it. So I think that was awesome. I did want to open this up to everyone on the webinar if you had any specific questions on working from home. Shelley, we will definitely share these so you can get copies of the slide. Elham, I'm sure you don't mind sharing those.
Yeah.
Great. Did anyone have any other questions specifically about work from home and the burnout or creating itineraries? All of those things we're happy to answer questions on. I have a question. What if, and this is just not something I'm facing personally, but if you, what if you have a boss that, I'm thinking specifically about a friend of mine. She took a PTO day and her boss was very upset. She and said, "You're not going anywhere. Why are you taking time off?" Do you have kind of a suggestion on how to handle a situation like that when your boss doesn't see the value in PTO or mental health days?
Well, for one thing, I think encourage your boss to attend meetings like this, or send this deck so that to someone who's having this problem, like your friend Anna, so that maybe they can, I don't know, share it with other coworkers and everyone. But I would be very diplomatic and, just tell your supervisor or boss, I'm tired. I'm really tired. I need to unplug. I need to get away from work because I've been working for, 6 months or however long in this manner. And, I have to unplug. I don't see how anyone can argue with that. People, I've heard from people who've taken time off and then other employees or supervisors keep emailing them. And what we have to do is make sure that all parties are respecting this time off. I would put it, make sure your email's updated to say that, make sure it's on your schedule, vacation, you block the time. And, if needed, send an email to everybody you work with and say, I'll be away. I think we just need to be a little bit more forward thinking about this aspect. But it's not unusual, Anna, for people in the office not to respect the person's time off.
No, that's really great feedback. My friend Allie, that her boss is no longer her boss. So maybe that's an example of why someone else is her boss now. But I just was curious about that one. I think that might be something that a lot of other people face.
Yes.
Being armed with the right resources and kind of pointing to things of like, you're an expert with 30 years of experience that knows that this can be successful in very large companies and very small companies, and sharing that I think is really valuable. So I appreciate that. Does anyone else have any other questions or thoughts they'd like to chime in with?
I have another tip that I have forgotten to put in this presentation, and that is give people time back. Meaning, sometimes schedule a 15-minute meeting. Don't make it, 30 minutes. Or instead of an hour, make it 45 minutes. Because even those blocks of time are valuable. And try to make meetings shorter. I was on a 2-hour Zoom a few weeks ago, and it killed me. It's very hard.
Yeah, I agree. Somehow my schedule today, I have 7 different meetings, and all of them are Zoom calls. So,
oh, wow.
It's exhausting sometimes. So that's a really great tidbit that I think I'll be implementing with scheduling my meetings, because even that 15-minute break to go take my dog on a walk is valuable. So I appreciate that. Well, it doesn't look like we have any other specific questions. I will let everyone know that you can reach out to Livable Buckhead. My colleague Katie is our transportation consultant, and she works directly with Elham on these types of programs with workplaces and making sure that people are armed with this data to implement very robust work from home programs at home or at their offices. And I'm adding Katie's email. You can also email me, and I'm happy to connect you to Elham directly. So you can ask any questions you have via email. So feel free to reach out to us. And we hope you got some really great tips and tricks from Elham today.
Thanks,
right.
Anna.
Yeah, thank you, Elham. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and this is our last webinar for this week, so we won't see you until next Monday for our Movement Monday with Batch Fitness. I also wanted to throw out Batch Fitness is offering free classes every day virtually at 6 p.m. For all members of the Better Habits, Better You Challenge. So if you enjoyed those classes, they're free every day. So you just select the same link that you've been using for the past webinars, and it's on our website. So that is all of my little tidbits and news for that. So I will see you all on Monday. Enjoy your weekend and your hobbies, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you again, Elham.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.